You never expect grief to feel like this, like walking through your own home and suddenly not recognizing the air. You think you're prepared because you've seen other people go through it, but nothing truly prepares you for an empty chair that used to hold a whole life. My name is Harold. I'm 79 years old, and 3 years ago I lost my wife, Eleanor, the woman I spent nearly half a century building a life with. She wasn't just my partner. She was my living memory, my sounding board, my calm when everything else felt chaotic. But what I didn't realize until she was gone was how much of myself was tied to her presence. When Eleanor passed, it wasn't just my world that shattered. My children, grown adults with families of their own, broke in ways I wasn't ready for. I'd always been the steady one, the problem solver, the man who held the family together like glue no matter what storm hit us. And suddenly they were looking at me with the same expression they had when they were little and scraped their knees, desperate for reassurance, desperate for strength. So I put on a brave face, not for me, for them. I told them I was managing. I told them I just needed some quiet. I told them not to worry. What I didn't tell them was that every night after they left, I'd sit at the kitchen table and feel the weight of every unsaid word crush me. Grief hits differently when you're trying to hold everyone else together while you're falling apart. I became the anchor for my own grieving family, and in doing so, I buried my own grief so deep that I barely recognized myself. And that, more than anything, made the road longer and darker. I want to tell you the 5 things you should never do when your spouse passes first, not because I figured grief out perfectly, but because I did almost everything wrong before I did anything right. Let's begin. First, don't pretend you're the strong one just because your family needs you. After Eleanor died, my kids came over constantly. They'd bring food, they'd clean, they'd talk about their mom, and I'd nod and smile, acting like I was the calm center of the storm. But inside, I was sinking. I'd see the redness in my daughter's eyes after she'd been crying in the car. I'd see my son bite his lip the way he always did when he was trying not to fall apart. They were grieving their mother, and in their minds, they couldn't lose me too, not emotionally. So I made myself fine, even when I wasn't. But something happens when you force yourself to be strong for everyone else. You stop giving yourself permission to hurt. You start believing your own performance. You convince yourself you're protecting them, when really you're isolating yourself in a silent kind of suffering. What I learned is this: your children don't need you to be made of stone. They need you to be human. They need to know grief is survivable, not avoidable. Let them see a few cracks. It won't break them. It will free them. Second, don't shut down your own world while you focus on everyone else's. The house felt too big. Every room echoed. I stopped turning on the lights in the evening because darkness felt easier than confronting the empty spaces where her laughter used to live. But when the kids came over, I'd brighten everything: the home, my voice, my posture. The moment they left, it all collapsed again. I thought disappearing into myself was a way to protect them from my pain, but it only made the loneliness sharper. And here's the truth I had to choke down. Isolating myself didn't make me strong. It made me vanish, not only from them, but from myself. And if you're going through this, please don't retreat into silence. Don't hide behind, "I'm okay." Let someone sit with you. Let someone carry a little of the weight. Even if it's just for a few minutes. You can't pour strength into your family if your own cup is empty. Third, don't rush into decisions just to feel in control. Grief makes you desperate to fix something, anything. My kids were struggling, I was struggling, and the whole house felt like a museum of a life I wasn't ready to revisit. So I started making plans: sell the house, move closer to my daughter, donate everything that reminded me of Eleanor so none of us had to break down in front of each other. It didn't feel like healing. It felt like running. One afternoon, my oldest son stopped me while I was packing a box of Eleanor's old recipe books. He said, "Dad, we're grieving too. We don't want you to disappear." That moment stopped me cold. Your children may be adults, but when they lose a parent, they become kids again in ways you wouldn't expect. They don't need you to erase the past. They need you to walk through it with them. Give yourself and them the gift of time before you rearrange your whole world. Fourth, don't ignore your health because you think your role now is just to support everyone else. I became so focused on my kids, on their pain, on their memories, on their healing, that I completely forgot to take care of myself. Meals were an afterthought. Sleep was a mess. Medication felt optional. I'd skip doctor appointments so I could be available for them. But grief catches the body as much as the heart. One night, my daughter found me pale and dizzy on the couch, and she looked terrified. She said, "Dad, we already lost one parent. Don't make us lose another." That hit me like a punch to the chest. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's the most loving thing you can do for the people who still need you. Caring for yourself is a way of saying, "I'm still here and I'm trying to stay." Eat, rest, move, hydrate. Let your kids help you for once. You don't stop mattering just because your partner is gone. Fifth, don't forget that your life still holds purpose, not in spite of your grief, but because of it. For a long time, I thought my story ended when hers did. My children had families of their own. They didn't need me the same way. And without Eleanor, I didn't feel like I had a reason to wake up with intention. But purpose doesn't vanish with loss. It changes shape. I started noticing small things again, the way my grandson laughed at jokes Eleanor would have loved, the way my daughter cooked using her mother's old techniques, the way my son inherited her stubborn kindness. Her fingerprints were still everywhere. And slowly I realized something. My life wasn't over. Only the chapter I shared with her was. I began volunteering at a local community center, reading to kids. I helped my neighbors with small repairs. I told my children more stories about their mother than I ever had before. And in those moments, I didn't just feel alive again. I felt connected to her. You still have value. You still have wisdom. You still have days ahead that matter. Your spouse may be gone, but love doesn't end. It transforms. And your life, the part that continues, is still needed by the people who love you. If you're listening to this and you're carrying a weight you don't know how to put down, I want you to know something. You're not failing. You're not weak. You're not alone in this strange, painful new world. You're doing something incredibly hard, and you're doing better than you think. If this message brought you comfort or helped you feel understood, I'd love for you to stay connected here. There are more stories, more wisdom, and more voices just like yours, learning, grieving, and healing together through time. Thank you for listening. And please, keep going. Your story still matters.